we got to a point where we, did pick up a couple renovations and maintenance, and then kind of linked up with Trade Group.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of changed. I came.
Matt Bennett.
Hello, how are you?
Fucking hungover. Welcome to the
Friday.
podcast, mate.
Thanks for having me, man.
How are you?
Yeah, good. Yeah,
Better
busy.
than me?
Better than you. I mean, I do have 3 kids under 2, so most of my mornings feel like a horrendous hangover.
Yeah.
But, yeah. That's my life now.
You've been a busy boy, haven't you, mate?
I have, yeah.
Got the double deuce.
Need to get some more hobbies going, I think. Or a bigger TV.
It's not a bad one to have, mate. Keeps you fit.
I think so.
Sweet, mate. So you're obviously the owner, the founder of MBE, Team MBE.
Yeah, that's us.
Yeah.
We're coming up 6 years now. Yeah,
Shit.
so it's kind of gone like a flash, and it's kind of sometimes we just don't take a step to reflect on where we've been, but we're like a proper functioning business now, and it's only the last couple of years we've gained that traction.
Yeah.
But it has been a fucking slog.
Yeah,
it's been hectic.
You've done a lot in those 6 years, mate.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's all kind of, we're just giving it a good go, and we don't know everything, and no one does, but you just need to do it. But it's it's pretty fucking taxing on everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
running a business, it's quite full on, eh?
It is, and I mean, the last year's been fucked.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
learning curves, there's all positives. That's how you have to think about it.
Yeah, totally, mate. Totally. And as you say, just do something.
Yeah.
That's how you get it
just
started.
do it.
Just fucking rip
Just
into
do
it.
it and worry about it later.
Yeah, totally. So take me back to the beginning, mate. What's your
Yeah.
story? Where did you grow up?
Yeah. So
all that jazz.
Yes, I grew up in Auckland. Went to Westlake Boys. Actually had a weird upbringing. Mum and Dad moved overseas when I was starting high school.
Okay.
So they went overseas.
Did they not like you?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, just wanted to get away. I was a last child, so.
Yeah.
So they moved overseas after the kind of 2008 crisis, financial crisis, just to kind of rebuild. So that was pretty full on. And moved in with my best mate, Pete, who you know.
Petey,
he was
shout
on
out
site with
Chalky
you.
Bicky.
Yeah. So moved in with
didn't
him.
know that. Okay.
Yeah. So from like year 9, lived at his house.
Yeah.
So my whole high school kind of time, no parents, kind of a bit loose.
Yeah.
Running amok with Pete.
Yeah.
But his parents became like my second parents, really.
Yeah, they would,
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was kind of like, it was buzzy because it kind of made me pretty independent from an early age.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm always kind of keen just to try shit. Like I moved into Pete's place. Mum and Dad weren't really there, trying to get a few extra bucks. So I started selling hats at school and all that kind of shit. And I've always always just kind of gone for it. You know what I mean? So moved in with him, and Mum and Dad came back when I kind of finished high school. And even when I signed out of school, I just called my dad and I was like, hey, I'm walking down to Bunnings. He's like, what? I was like, yeah, I've just signed out of school, just fucking over it. So it's a weird kind of, way to be in high school. Way different to kind of, living with another family. So did all that and then started at Bunnings. Probably when this would have been 2012.
Yeah.
Started at Bunnings trying to find an apprenticeship. Found a building apprenticeship through working in the trade yard, and then did that for 6 months as a labourer. Got to the end of the 6 months, and then he offered me a labouring role. So maybe I wasn't the best builder, but there was no apprenticeship.
Yeah.
And that was actually at the time when Pete and everyone joined PS.
Yeah.
And I kind of just like, I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do. So I kind of was like, oh yeah, well, Pete's going to be a Sparky and, Maine's going to be a Sparky. Like how hard can it really be? We're all the same.
No comment.
Yeah. So I actually went around Bush Road because I just had a weird inkling. I was like, fuck, maybe I should just focus and actually get a job where my mates don't work.
Yeah.
Because I lived with Pete for years. I was like, fuck, I'm not going to work with him.
Anyway.
That comes next. And then, just so I went around Bush Road handing out my CV. Got a job at Boss Electrical.
Yeah.
Old Rob and Ben and
because they
Dave.
used to be opposite the old TJ office, eh?
Yes, behind that dodgy little liquor store.
Yeah.
So I started there and did my time and, maybe passed my apprenticeship quicker.
Yeah.
Than my mates who I veered off from, so it probably was a good thing.
Yeah.
So done that, and then I ended up working with Pete at Advanced Electrical when I got registered.
Oh, did you go to Advanced?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because at Boss we did a lot of like house bashing.
Yeah.
So it was house bashing, and then we did commercial. But I kind of just wanted to like learn a little bit more because I started fresh there. So I was always the boy.
Yeah.
Even when I got registered.
Yeah, you've got to move sideways because they only remember you as the day you walk through the door, right?
You're a little bitch.
Yeah.
And you always will be. No?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so I kind of went to Advanced and got into the automation side of things.
Yeah.
And
so that would have been with Sam, eh?
Yeah. And we still work closely together today, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
kind of help each other out, and the automation side of things really opened my mind up to the electrical industry. And I was there for a couple years, and we like barely touched TPS. Cat 6, you know, like all the Control 4 stuff, way different. You know, rocking out to site with a laptop, programming, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then again, just had that itch. Oh, fuck, I want to start my own thing and do this. Mum and Dad were here at the time, and I was like, oh, you know, like, what do you reckon? And Dad's like, well, you know, go buy a van, sort it out.
Yeah.
And no handouts. Like, went and got an L300.
Yeah.
On tick.
The old sardine.
Yeah, on tick. Even while I was working in Advance, just went and ticked it up. You know, being a young 20-year-old, you know, single at the time, just partying and stuff. Didn't have any money.
No.
Had money for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Not a van and a company.
Yeah.
So I bought the van and then ticked it up and started contracting back to Sam.
Okay.
So I kind of do.
So you set up the business.
Yeah, kind of just like ran in. Like I don't even think I had an accountant. I don't even know like how it started. I think I was just sending him invoices with like an email. Like it wasn't proper. I was like, fuck it. He was probably just like, what is wrong with this kid? But he was good about it. So I started that, and then kind of went from like 3 days with him, 2 days with myself.
Yeah.
2 days with him. You know, 3 days with myself.
Start snowballing.
Started snowballing, and then I kind of got into a good little pocket where I went and walked down to small business accountants in Browns Bay and said, hey, I need to start a business, and then I've been doing it for 7 months, but let's just start it now.
Yeah.
So I got a pretty big bill.
Yeah.
Just for subbing, GST, tax, all that. So then I kind of was like, okay, well, it's not really going to work being a subby.
Yeah.
I might as well jump back on wages.
Yeah.
So then took the punt to really go out on my own. Flyers, builders crack, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, drumming up the business.
Yeah. And this is when me and my wife met pretty much when I was leaving Advanced and starting my own thing.
Yep.
We met, moved into a flat, and then I really started my own thing, and I was kind of just grafting, really. And she had her own job as well. So, like, if I had no work on or things were slow, we're kind of helping each other out, which was a good way to do it.
Yeah, so you've got that fixed income and in from one side,
Yeah, she was, gun at her job, and I was doing my thing, and then it kind of progressed from there. And then it all kind of moved quite fast because we were flatting, picked up some contracts. It was mainly maintenance.
Yep.
And then again, kind of when I met Court, we're kind of like we're like massive active relaxers.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we want to go do something, we'll be like, oh, let's go, you know, paint the whole house this weekend.
Yeah, and that's your chill time.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So every time she'd come home from work and I was mustering around on builder's crack or trying to find the next job, she'd jump in and help and have a look at it and just quite engaged, which was quite cool. And then, we decided to go rent our own house in Bayview.
Yeah.
So we went from paying like $150 a week rent to $600 for a whole house.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah, bearing in mind I'd been doing my own thing for like not even a financial.
Yeah.
So she was like, yeah, I'll do my job, you do your thing. So she was the stable income at the time. And then it just really kicked off. I put a sign outside the house, like a big sign, flyers, builders crack, pestering everyone. And then it really started to take off from there, So that's kind of the beginnings.
So when you were like getting your first clients and stuff, were you outbounding like crazy? Like just ringing everyone and
saying whatever price you've got, I'll do it cheaper type thing. Like just doing whatever.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you need that done now? Do you want me to come right now? They're like, it's 8 o'clock. I'm having dinner.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, tomorrow?
Leave me alone, you pest.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, do you want to come tomorrow or can we book it in? And it was always that kind of like mentality of I'm out on my own, you know, I've got a missus, we're renting a house. Like back then, that was a fucking big deal.
Yeah.
You know, there was a lot on
responsibilities.
Yeah, responsibilities. And then it was, it wasn't until I started really kind of cranking out some work and Court was helping in the background. So she'd finish her job, come back and help.
Yep.
And then we had that lockdown, and she was working with her company, doing admin and accounts. And then I was kind of doing my thing. And then because she had a bit more time up her sleeve, she started looking into what I was doing.
This is all wrong, mate.
Like looking into what I was doing, looking at the kind of IRD correspondence and all that. And I was like, well, like what, let's get another job on and I'm going to hire someone else. And she looked at it and was like, fuck, like you need some help.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hear it at the time. I was like, no, I don't need help.
Sweet as.
Yeah, I've got heaps of jobs.
Tax, never heard of it.
5 Heat Light fans this week. And then beers on Friday with this builder I've been pestering for 4 weeks. It was all good. And then she jumped on board and she's like, look, I'll leave my job and I'll fully commit to you.
Yeah.
I was like, sweet. So she jumped on board and that's when we're at the time of, we had a gateway apprentice at the time from Westlake. I think we had like our first kind of tradesman. That was the kind of mistake we made. not that tradesman, but I started hiring heaps of apprentices.
Yeah.
I went to school with it.
But you can't send them anywhere, right?
Yeah. Well, like they were like kind of second or third year apprentices.
Yeah.
And at that time, my logic was, I'll get someone who's not qualified. It's cheaper and blah, blah, blah. And then I had all of a sudden a couple 3 and 4th year guys boosting around, looking after the apprentice. And then I was signing everything off, running around and running it.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't that sustainable. You know what I mean? Like I was just, my thinking at the time was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
I'm going to save so much money on having to pay $10 an hour less, like it's just ridiculous. Yeah. And that kind of bit us in the ass a little bit. We started taking on builders and we weren't really kind of doing builders crack work anymore. We were doing little renos and switchboard upgrades, and then to kind of send someone to a job and he wasn't quite competent. And the builder's standing there, and then so we started kind of
doesn't make the company look great.
Nah. Yeah. We did kind of look like those young guys that fucking had no clue what they're doing.
Yeah, you got to fake it until you make it, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. Like, and I mean, I was registered. I'd automation experience. Genuinely love the industry and the trade, and always kind of keen to learn more. And then when it all kind of falls on you, and then I'm coming home doing the payroll, then someone's fucked a job up.
Yeah.
Then we're not getting paid. It was early days and we're not getting paid from a couple of jobs. I'm struggling to do payroll the next week.
Yeah.
So it was pretty stressful.
Yeah.
But it was kind of, as soon as Court jumped on, it was like a bit of we kind of stabilized a little bit. She's like, what we're going to do is, put this money aside and pay this off and do that. So that was like a real big one for us.
Organise the finances for you. But just coming back to the tradesman apprentice thing. This is a funny one. I totally understand why people, you're a one-man band, you're looking to start expanding, you go get an apprentice, right? That's the thought.
Yeah, for sure.
It doesn't make sense to me because you're going to have to take that apprentice to every job you do.
Yeah.
They're not going to be chargeable to a lot of those jobs, and you can't send them anywhere on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how does that make sense? What I'm asking is, time again, would you go straight for a tradesman as your first employee?
I probably would. I think when you don't really have any direction, it's not like I didn't have any direction, but we didn't have any kind of systems or platforms in place. It was real off the cuff.
Yeah.
Oh man, we just got another builder, or we got another job. My thinking back then was, I need to hire someone.
Yeah.
We've got another builder. That's cool. That might only be 3 months' work for the whole year, but you're kind of just like, okay, sweet, he can go there and he can go there. And I think at that time when you're kind of, running off an oily rag and, I had a little $5,000 now 300, and then we bought like another one for like, I think it was like $4,000, like smelled like burning oil.
Perfect.
Like, all good. Had them on the road.
Yeah.
You're thinking then when you don't really have anything in place is, well, if I hire a tradesman, is my company set up for him? That's what I would think.
Yeah.
Like, if a full tradesman rolls in, is he going to be like, this guy's running this in his garage?
Yeah.
He doesn't even know where we're going to be next Wednesday. Like, fuck this. You know what I mean? I can just go work for Laser.
So you didn't think you were almost like worth the tradesman at that point?
I wasn't ready. I was kind of like, I'll just get some younger guys on board and I'll run the ship. That was the thinking back then.
It's so funny how your perspective changes the way because like, at that point in your career, you get like, a new build house, and you're like, we've cracked it, we're going to be millionaires. And then you look at it and
book that vacation.
You're maybe going to bill $40,000, which is turnover not profit, and you're going to bill that over maybe 9 months.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
That isn't that much.
No, that's not even going to pay my apprentice for the year.
Hey, if we take all the costs out of that, take a bit of tax out of it. Might shout us a few nights at the pub.
It's not looking very flash, is it?
Yeah. But at the time, you're like,
yeah, well, that's
this is so much work. And then when you actually realize how much you can get through.
Yeah.
And the volume of work you need to sustain a team.
It's ridiculous.
Wild,
Yeah, and I think kind of we got to a point where we, did pick up a couple renovations and maintenance and then kind of linked up with Trade Group.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of changed. And that kind of started initiating that kind of, okay, well, this is how it rolls.
Yeah.
There's the reason there's so many people in this group. Everyone can help each other out.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay, I've got some support now.
Yeah.
But it was kind of just a stroke of not a stroke of luck, but it was just kind of like, let's give it a go. And if we can get past that first year and then join Trade Group or something like this, then maybe we can look to the next year. And that's genuinely what it was. It was just like,
interesting, eh?
Yeah. We were taking drawings out of our savings, and if we hadn't get paid by someone, then Court's giving me money from her account, and that's what it was.
Yeah.
But we knew that I knew deep down that with the traction we were kind of getting, it'll just work itself out.
Yeah, it was gonna. It becomes real fast.
Yeah, it does.
When you're playing with your own money, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And then you can earn a good bit of money.
Yep.
And then you have, at that stage as well, you have like a quiet week, and you just watch it all disappear out the back door on wages and stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Crazy,
100%. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, so you've come a long way from there, mate. Because how many? Yeah. So what have you got now? 12 guys?
11 now.
11?
Yeah, we've had a couple guys go overseas end of last year.
Yeah.
So you cut down to 11. We were kind of running almost 15 for a little bit there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of our company structure is, we've got one first-year apprentice. We've got another apprentice who's pretty much about to get registered.
Yep.
Everyone else is in a van and qualified.
Yeah, mate.
And it's just like we can actually take on complicated projects.
Yeah.
And there's just an element of trust there.
Yeah.
We change from having one tradesman for 4 apprentices to the opposite.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking quick.
Well, it makes you more agile. You've got way more coverage because you can send them all over the show. Eh?
Yeah, and it was kind of the feedback we're getting from builders. Like, I'm always pretty friendly with everyone and keep up the comms and the relationships going, and that was kind of what was feeding everything through the door.
Yeah.
But then kind of like I was getting honest comms like, hey bro, like you're sending this dude here. He's not quite up to scratch.
He?
Yeah.
Smells like cabbage.
He smells like cabbage and looks like he's just woken up. But we just knew we had to kind of change that.
Yeah.
And that's when we took the punt of getting our first tradesman and getting our second tradesman, and then kind of like really actually thinking about it's not like I'm trying to start this company. And at the start, I think a lot of people think, oh, get this guy on board, get this guy on board, and you're real close with them and it's real personal, but you're still running a business. And a lot of it,
you don't want to work with your mates to some extent.
And I'd feel bad if I was telling someone that they're late.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's like my balls are on the line.
Yeah.
You go home and not worry about it. And like the change of mindset from then till now, it's mental. But I'm glad I went that way. Like I could have easily worked for another 5 years, got more in a management position, then started.
Yeah.
It probably would have been way more ahead.
Yeah.
But I kind of feel like there's an element of kind of respect coming from that.
Yeah.
And knowing like where you're at now.
Well, you can carry a sense of pride knowing that you went in knowing nothing.
Yeah, you actually fucking learned the hard way.
And it's worked, and now you know something.
Yeah, something. Yeah.
So just couple of questions. So what was like the first big project you won?
I'd say our first big project was Baby Bunting in Albany. So it's that baby store.
I've got no kids, so I
still working on it.
Yeah, I don't hang out at the baby store too much.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, if you ever go past it, just in Albany there, we kind of went from running the business in the garage to meeting a company called Fit Out Solutions.
Yeah.
And that's just through people we knew, and they had a little room that they were going to rent. And I was like, shit, well, why don't we lease this little room off them?
Yeah.
You know, and my thinking was we'll get some more work off them.
Locks you in with them.
Yeah, locks us in with them. And that was a big punt as well. Again, we're still early stages, no cash reserves, no backups. Fuck it, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Move in, and then all of a sudden we're starting to do like, I think we did the lower store in Manukau. That was probably our first project for them.
Main.
Yeah, rolled in, just coming from doing resi.
Yeah.
Roll in, we're ready to roll. And we put the wrong colour track lighting up.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, 3K. And then the owner from Lower comes down, looks at it. So I think we did like almost an overnighter to change it over.
Yeah.
And probably lost money on that job.
Yeah.
But that was kind of like, oh shit, we're in with a proper company now. Then we got the next job and the next job. And then Baby Bunting, I remember, was like an $80,000 electrical package.
Yeah.
And for us, we were just like blowing away.
Gonna be millionaires.
Yeah, because we were doing like little renos. It was like 10 grand here, 15 grand there.
Yeah.
$300 maintenance job. And that kind of was like, this is like what we should actually start doing.
Fit outs are actually mean as well because they're always under time pressure.
Yeah.
So you're just in, out, paid.
Yeah. Well, that's
there's no, it's not spread over months and months. Which is good.
And that was like a good way for, like, I've got commercial experience, but I hadn't had commercial experience with the pricing, the variations, and the admin.
Different ball game.
Way different. You know, we're on a residential site. With the builder, his dog's running around, we're having beers.
Loose as.
You know, there's a variation. It's just, shake your hand.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got into that fit out game. And like we really started to thrive in that space.
Yeah.
And I loved pricing it.
Yeah.
I loved the kind of admin. And it is fast paced. You know, you're holding up a project because there's a $1,000 variation.
Yeah.
You know, and you just have to be on the money.
You got to have your laptop on site, price the variation there and then.
And then tell the boys we can't touch it till it gets approved.
Yeah.
And it's just way different.
So you did Mr. House in Albany as well,
did Mr. House.
Yeah, I think that was the first job of yours that I actually saw.
I think we got some like professional photos done and we were pretty proud of that.
Yeah, that was cool.
As soon as we started doing like restaurants, like public stores and stuff that's like, we did cotton on stores, we did all sorts. That's when it was kind of like, the boys were like, enjoyed working on those sites, you know? It was like something different. We're not just doing another reno and
it's cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's cool, and you finish it and you're like, that looks sick.
Yeah, and it's a mongrel to get it done.
Yeah.
And anyone that's in that space knows that.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
You're going to be working some late nights.
Yeah. And there's going to be some like pretty hasty conversations and tempers and all that, but it's all part of it.
Yeah.
And like the cool thing about the stuff we do, it's all feature lighting.
Yeah.
So you walk in and it's just like, it's over the top, but it's cool.
Yeah, so you got visual job satisfaction.
You finish it and it looks sick. And you forget about all the mental breakdowns and all that kind of stuff that goes along the way.
Yeah.
And it's it's a cool sense of pride, eh?
Nah, that's bloody good. So, you started from nothing.
Yeah.
You've had some success. You must have had some shitty things happen as well. What are the pitfalls that you've come across in this journey so far?
Yeah, so there's heaps, and it's almost every time we level up to a different stage, there's a whole set of new issues.
Yeah.
I'd say in those early stages, it was just kind of not really knowing our running
just stuff
costs.
you don't know.
Yeah, just stuff we didn't know. But I feel like with the long hours and the hard work, it kind of just sorted itself out.
Yeah.
But the real pitfall was when we started getting into that commercial game, we didn't have any kind of structure in place for variations, for purchase orders or anything like that. So we were kind of we jumped straight in and just little things like we'd send an invoice out on the end of the month. We haven't put the purchase order in. We've just missed out on that 40 grand till the following month.
Yeah.
And for a big company, that's the process. That's how it is.
Yeah.
So there was things like that when we were just kind of not on the ball, and that would really hurt, you know.
What about retentions and stuff
like that?
We
didn't really get into retentions, I'd say, until like the last kind of 12 months.
Yeah.
So even though we're kind of in that fit out space, all the guys we're doing work for, there wouldn't be retentions.
Yeah.
So we were kind of still under this little blanket of reality.
Yeah. We're just hopefully coming off the back end of a pretty terrible period of business in our industry, right? People get desperate, so they take the risk on those like sketchy customers and stuff like that. Yeah. So it's easier said than done, but I had Luke on from Keep the Change a few weeks ago, and he was like, if I was a tradie, I would put all my effort into just stashing cash and building up my customer base as much as I can.
Yeah.
So I've got a really, really solid base of customers. And then when old mate comes along and I'm not too sure, I'll just be like, nah, sorry, mate. Go find somebody else. And you can actually cherry pick who you work for.
Yeah.
easier said than done, but
kind of gives you the power more than the customer, right?
Yeah,
and for us, like we've hired people based on contracts awarded.
Yeah.
And that's a fuck up. You know, you're busy for that 6 months. It dries up. We've hired out of being desperate before and just kind of got someone on and it hasn't worked out.
Yeah.
And that fucks you as well. You know, it just kind of sets you backwards. Like you've taken on all this work and you haven't quite even like thought about who's going to be running the jobs, and now you're like potentially losing that work.
That's where you need that a reliable little base of contractors, that you can pull in, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can't just turn the tap on and off, eh?
Yeah, because it's the same thing again. Like you know, you start getting these larger commercial jobs and and you get a program at the beginning.
Yeah,
you may as well throw that straight in the bin.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's a guideline.
Yeah, the job will probably start 3 months after this program to start, and then it'll be all over show, and you're better off. As I said before, like it's surprising how much work a team can get through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's all going to be staggered and and if you don't panic, you probably make it work and just work to capacity.
For sure, yeah, definitely. And like that's what one of our major downfalls would be. Like we were on a hiring spree a couple of years ago, like just hiring.
Yeah.
Things weren't working out, kind of letting go of people.
Yeah.
But we've got such a solid base of boys now.
Yeah.
And one of the things we had to do is buy another company and bring them in, you know, and we kind of bought the expertise of some guys who have been in the game for 20 years, you know, and he's in the office with me, helping me out.
Yeah.
And that's like a real positive for us.
Yeah.
I'd say a pitfall for the growth we've had would definitely be just hiring spree for the work coming in.
Yeah.
You know, not thinking about the overhead, not thinking about what he's actually costing you, and then I'm buying more vans, and it's all good until it's not,
well,
you know?
You'll know very well that growth costs a lot of cash money.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and it takes fucking balls as well.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one side of it, but there's also the facts, you know, if there's no work coming in and you've just hired extra guys, like, fuck, it's not a good position to be in, eh?
Yeah, and there's another side to having staff, right? Yeah. You take the dollar bills out of the way.
Yeah.
You go to bed at night, especially when things aren't going that well, and you know you're responsible for 12 guys' livelihoods.
Yeah, for sure.
And what's going to happen to their family and all this stuff. So how do you deal with that? How do you manage the stress of the business and all that?
Yeah, I mean, if you talk to my wife about it, like, I don't really stress about things too much. You know, I'm pretty chill.
Yeah.
To the point where like I'll stress maybe a day before something has to be done, even though I've known about it for months.
Yeah.
Just kind of who I am.
Well, you just compartmentalize things.
Yeah, just kind of just worry about it later.
Be sweet,
and that trips us up a little bit. But I kind of find my group of guys I've got, it's almost like a bit of a privilege to have them. You know what I mean? Like I know that I'm bringing in this work and we've built a solid culture and everything's all positive, that, you know, I'm looking after his family.
Yeah.
And it's also super cool knowing that we're starting to open up gateways for guys becoming project managers and, you know, seeing guys come from apprentices to tradesmen. So I kind of find a lot of pride in that.
Yeah.
The stress of the work coming in, I've just kind of learnt, especially the last 12 months, it always kind of just works itself out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a loose way of saying it, but we have built so many solid connections with other companies and all our main guys that are with us. It's always going to work.
I was very much the same with the work coming in. So I was like, as long as we're, you know, doing everything we can.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keep the faith. That was my phrase. Keep the faith. It'll happen, brother.
Yeah, no, that's it. That's it. Because if you've got we've got, you know, commercial companies that have been using us for 5 years.
Yeah.
From $5,000 packages when we started to up to $1 million.
Yeah, and it just grows and grows as they trust you.
We've got so much trust with them, and they trust us. They know all of our guys individually, and we're just really starting to become a household name.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
The work's we've never really had an issue with not enough work.
Yeah.
We've always had an issue with managing the outcome of that.
Yeah.
You know, fucking finishing a job in the red.
Yeah.
Or kind of, you know, that's our main
running
issue.
It efficiently, making money on it, managing it correctly, procurement.
That's it. And we've always been pretty busy, which is cool, and I'm pretty proud of that. It's just kind of managing what comes with that.
Yeah, I think just coming back to the people in your business, you must have a massive sense of pride of that.
Yeah.
So for me personally, my favorite part about being on the tools as a Sparky was you get these young kids coming in as apprentices.
Yeah.
Not only like teaching them a trade, but you part of them growing up. And it's so rewarding when you go, gee, he's a bloke now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's one of us.
Yeah, and he's just given me a real bad burn as well. I'm so proud.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's super cool. And it's I think if I could touch on being proud's one thing, but also kind of having a set of standards is another.
Yeah.
You know, because we've had guys that have come through and haven't finished. And that's just business.
Yep.
But we've also had guys that have come through and they're now running bigger projects, and we're having talks about being project managers, which is super cool.
Yeah, good.
And I think, when you've got a solid team that understand the vision of a company, like everyone that's part of our company, whether it's Nick, who's our first year apprentice, to Blake, who's been in the game for...
Shout out, Blake.
3 decades, maybe.
Well, he's in his 50s now, isn't he?
No, but it's everyone feels valued, and we're all part of one thing together. And I'm huge on culture.
Yeah,
I always have been.
Yeah.
Whether we started our garage in Bayview and we had a little table set up with a beer fridge, and so
just getting the boys together on a Friday.
Yeah, because
well done.
That's what I loved when I was a Sparky.
Yeah,
I've had beers at the Boss Electrical yard, and you finish the week and you're with all the guys, and you feel really special.
Yeah, the camaraderie is very cool.
Yeah, and we've kept that up the whole way. We've got social clubs, we've got a full-on bar at the office.
Yeah.
Sauna, gym.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've sunk a couple of coldies at that bar, mate.
Yeah, it's a good spot, and the boys love it.
Yeah,
I'm always keen to give back to the boys, and I'd say we're coming out 6 years now. We've put everything back into it.
Yeah,
we're not sitting on a big gold mine of cash we're stashing away.
Drawings.
Yeah, it's still all the hard work that we put in. Like I want to make sure my family's looked after, and we've recently built a little house and all that, which is all cool. But also I want to make sure that everyone in the team's looked after. And
well, if you look after them, mate, and if they respect you, they'll pretty much do anything for you.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
And it's a two-way street. Obviously, you're always going to get some dickhead who's going to take the mech, but
that's it, eh? But
happy worker's a good worker, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's bloody good. So what's the future looking like for you, mate?
What's
the plan? What are we doing?
Yeah, well, I know. Well, if you asked me 12 months ago, it'd be a different answer. But the kind of tail end of last year, with everything being a bit shaky, we've kind of obviously cut down a little bit.
Yep.
And the big thing for us is kind of just building internally. Like I said, everyone's pretty much registered. So we want to take on the complex projects. We do the automation, we do the electrical. It's full turnkey, solar. So we just kind of want to keep building our relationships with the guys we've already got.
Yep.
Because we're not looking for the next big job next year. We want to be with these guys for the next 20 years. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think the growth will come organically from that. Whether we're going to have 50 guys in the next 10 years or stay at the same size and be super profitable, it's kind of an unknown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're just going to keep doing the best job you can.
Keep doing the best job we can and just build from there. Like I've always wanted to have the trifecta, like our residential, commercial and maintenance.
Yep.
We're definitely touching on the resi at the moment. Like we do some really nice high-end projects. We're in Waiheke and all that. That's way more niche.
Yep.
Kind of, when I say niche, like we probably can't just go and hire whoever to jump into that. And that kind of sets us apart from other companies.
Yeah.
In commercial, what I look after is kind of it's a bit of a price war and who you know better.
Yeah, it is
at
a bit
the end
of a
day,
race to the bottom at
the
minute, eh?
And that just kind of just keep pursuing it, I reckon, eh? Yeah. And then the
commercial's great when it's good.
It is, yeah.
Big jobs, you're there for a long time. They're really rewarding.
Yeah, and you get it. We've been on the gravy train with commercial for the last 2-3 years.
Yeah,
and I think just the whole industry. If you asked anyone in the industry where they want to be in the next 5 years, I think they would kind of have the same response because it's kind of a lot of people have really sharpened up, cut half their team, and I think the next 5 years will be a good period for growth again, but maybe everyone's thinking a little bit differently.
I think to to some extent, the days of like your old school spec, like I only do lights and PowerPoints. It's gone. You've got, such as yourself, a new generation of business owners and sparkies coming through.
Yeah.
You've got to be tech savvy. You've got to, like you say, offer the turnkey solution, do the solar, do the automation, do the intercom, all the rest of the shit. That's what people want now.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think you've got to be quite a savvy business owner to actually get somewhere these days as well. And you've got to think outside the box with maybe how you present yourself to the public.
Yeah.
Are you using socials? How are you advertising? And just how you're conveying yourself to the customers.
Yeah. And I think a good way to put that would be, nothing's guaranteed anymore.
No.
Like it used to be customers ringing us, needing us more than we need them.
Yeah.
And now it's we're calling customers asking for work. It's turned.
Oh, yeah.
And for us, we're big on the socials. We always have been.
Yeah.
We're taking it way more professionally now.
I saw that reel you did for, was it Devonport?
Yeah,
that's me.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. And that's one of the things we're pushing. We're taking that way more serious now and establishing our website and just keeping the content coming.
Yeah.
For us, it's, we're not looking for maybe a customer sitting in their lounge wanting their TV hung to engage with that. We're looking for main contractors.
Yeah.
They can see we're like a solid company, probably heard of us.
You'll get there, though, because you're just building brand.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it does work for some people, don't get me wrong, but you see a lot of sparkies almost do transactional content. So it's a deal. It's basically a flyer on social media.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Margaret's like, yes, I'll have some downlights.
Yeah.
Cool. That's going to keep you busy for an hour.
It kind of depends what you're after. Like going back to that trifecta, we've got resi on lock, commercial on lock, not too much maintenance.
Yeah.
And that's probably something we will push when we're ready. But we're looking for, the next fit out company, the next main contractor to kind of engage with that. Like one example would be we've just won a job in Bombay.
Yeah.
And because we did
that'll be a main drive in the morning.
Yeah. Who's going to get the short straw on that one, eh? And we did NZ Katahi's head office in Auckland, and I was sharing it all over socials and going for it, and then managed to link with someone on Instagram, and now we're doing Katahi's testing station in Bombay, and it's for a company from Hamilton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
that's cool.
Super
the
cool.
The power of it, if it's used right, is bloody awesome, eh?
Yeah, for sure. And I'm an actual pest on the tendering websites.
Sex fest.
Yeah. on those tendering websites, I've just got catalogs of companies. I've got favorite folders of guys we're already engaged with, potential clients, and I'll cold call all day long if I've got nothing else to do.
Good.
You know what I mean? And
I'd love to hear this.
I'll introduce myself and say who we are. Have you heard of us? Whatever. 9 times out of 10, it's nothing. And
they still know your name.
Yeah,
they didn't know your name before you called them. They know your name now. Put in a price on, let's say, BTSL or something.
Yeah.
You've probably got a pretty small chance of winning it. Yes, it takes a lot of time to put together, but if you're aiming to build something over 20-odd years, it's getting your name out there.
Yeah, it's just
that company goes, I've seen a price off them before.
Yeah. Just getting in front of them, and that's right. I'd say the last 12 months when everything was taking a dip, we've probably gained another 20 to 30 QSs on the books.
I tell you what, risen QSs is hard work because I don't mean to be rude, but they all have shit personalities.
Yeah. It's very transactional.
They're just wet wipes, mate. Absolute lemons.
Yeah. You don't want to meet at a bar? Oh, maybe let's go for a long black.
Yeah. Okay, pal.
How are we going to get into it with that?
Yeah.
Mate. I want to drop you home at 1 a.m. and we've just become good mates.
Don't bring your abacus.
Yeah. No, and it is true though. You kind of just need to be in front of the right people, and just put yourself out there. I've got no shame.
No,
I've always been like that.
Yep.
I definitely embarrass court at times with my no shame.
Who cares?
I just don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, you need to.
What they're going to say? No.
Yeah. Oh fuck, he's a loser.
Yeah.
Oh, he's trying to pay 12 people and look after them. What a loser.
Yeah.
Fuck off. You know what I mean? That fucking doesn't sit right with me. It's just get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And just do it. Who gives a
I like
fuck?
that. I'm a big believer in it. But my pet hate is, obviously I deal with a lot of sparkies, and particularly when it's quite a lot of people. Mate, I've got nothing on.
Yeah.
Right. Have you rang anyone? No, the phone's just stopped ringing, mate.
Yeah.
Mate, ring somebody.
Yeah.
Like, go put an offer out to somebody. Go and present yourself to somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm getting all racked up now. I tell you what, this has been great because I'm feeling much better now.
Yeah.
I was a bit dusty this morning.
Yeah. Fuck, I wonder why, eh?
You've brought me back to life, mate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll have a beer later and you can carry on.
Oh, God, mate. Probably start weeping into it.
Wait till you have kids. That's a horrific hangover.
I know, because I'm quite old as well. Like, I've turned 40 this year.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be old dad.
Nah, you're still young. Young at heart. That's how you feel, mate.
Yeah. Peter Pan. They call me Peter Pan in here.
Benjamin Button, eh?
Yeah. Aging
if
in
you
reverse,
keep hanging
mate.
out with younger people, you just become young.
It's terrible as well, mate. I did a podcast yesterday
Yeah.
and I looked back on the video and I'm like, every episode my forehead's getting bigger on the side profile. I'm like, what is going on here?
Aging rapidly,
on camera, which is not good.
Yeah. It's probably trying to find all those subbies work, eh?
It's just a real good job nobody listens to this.
Yeah. You're one of Auckland's most prestigious podcasters, aren't you?
Oh yeah, mate. Big
It's a
time.
privilege to be here.
I'm a Z-list celebrity, mate.
I actually paid to be here. This is going on our socials.
We'll send it to you, mate.
But that is one of the things. Like, kind of just you can't just sit still, and like the mindset of having one person to look after shouldn't be any different if you're looking after 10 or 20.
No.
You know what I mean? You just need, it's just bigger numbers and more clients. It's still the same principles. You know? Get the work in, they're managed, and just overwork it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Totally.
We have always have too much on, you know, and then the boys are doing weekend shifts, or we're trying to get contractors in, and, you know, like it's ruthless at times, but the boys understand, like, fuck, well, it's better than not having a job.
Oh, 100%.
You know,
There's nothing worse than seeing your company go slow and you're like...
Yeah, and it's also, like, the boys know as well, like, I was on the tools with them full time. You know, I was in the trenches with them, and I'll jump on if we need to. Like, I did all the data racks at the big cinemas we done. And I was there for 2 weeks helping the boys out, and I'll jump in and help, like, all good. And I'll show you how this fucking started, because I don't just sit in the office playing solitaire.
I think it's a great thing to do, as you say, to sort of rack up the lads and show them that you're in it with them.
Yeah.
But I think you get to a certain stage as a business where you going on the tools actually costs the business money.
Oh, it definitely does. Yeah, like your time is way more useful finding what the boys are going to do in the next
or working
week.
on the processes, or, you know, sharpening something up, or whatever you're doing.
Yeah, completely agree. And it's also good to kind of have that respect with the boys as well, though, that, like, I'm not going to go tell you something to do if I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if I'm sending someone to a job, you know, switchboard upgrade, meter board upgrade, whatever, I'm there to help. Give me a call. I've done it heaps.
Yeah,
you know, but I'm not just sending them to a job and going, fucking get it done, call me when it's done. Like, I'm not, like,
you're not running them with do what I say, not what I do.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck about you type thing. We do, even though we are, you know, 10, 12 boys, we're super
sounds
close.
lovely, mate. I might come and work for you.
Yeah, come through. Yeah. B&D.
Yeah, mate.
You like hanging out at the hubs?
Yeah, I do.
What type of business hubs? Yeah, but no, it's just keeping the work coming in is one thing, but just managing the staff's another.
Yeah, totally.
And as long as we've always got such a solid, like a brotherhood, but it's still that kind of very, very clear line in the sand that I'm your boss. You know, I'll come and have a beer with you. Come and have a beer with you, and cheer you on. But also, I'll pull you in line if I have to as well.
Yeah.
And there's no shame in that, and we don't take it personally as a team.
No, that's awesome, mate.
And the boys are good. Like, I'm super proud of our team.
Yeah.
And we're all on the same level.
Yeah.
You know,
kissed a few frogs to get there.
Yeah, kissed a few frogs. Yeah, but we're kind of like our work dues are something super cool as well. Like we don't actually just get our own team involved. We get our builders there, and you know, and make it a proper thing.
Yeah,
and our kind of ecosystem as a company is much more than just MBE. It's our customer base as well.
Yeah,
you
totally.
know, like,
it's the whole network, right?
Yeah, and it's just like the way I kind of look at it is, you know, why would that builder use someone else.
Yeah.
You know, he knows us, he knows our company, he knows what we stand for. And
make it undeniable.
Yeah,
why the hell would you use anybody else unless you're just going for the cheapest price?
For sure, yeah. This is the cheapest price. We're still getting comms about that first.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, there's no budget. It's kind of like we're getting the first offer first.
Yeah. Because you're happy to negotiate. If people want to crash the spec or, you know, we need to take some things out here and there, sweet, we'll work with you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Not too bad. You know, you started in 2019, so you're 6 years plus in.
Yep.
Give me your top tips for anybody who's thinking about making that jump or has just made it.
Yeah.
What were the biggest lessons that you could pass on, do you think?
I think the biggest lessons would be honest with yourself. You know, don't try bullshit it. If you're gonna start it, just do it. But hold yourself accountable as well. Don't get the first contract, the second contract, go buy a Ranger straight away. No, you know what I mean? And start.
I know exactly what you mean.
Your fucking ladders are now blacked out, and you know, because it's just you have to learn the basics before you can actually start running. And there's no rush at all.
Yeah, don't get paid off your first job and start rocking up to site in Gucci shorts, like
not even shaking anyone's hand. There's there's a process.
Yeah,
and you just kind of need to be be humble. You know, like
I like that.
I started it. I had an L300, and then I think it was like 2 years in, got my first high ace.
Yeah,
3-4 years in, got my first Ranger.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's just like, who cares? You don't need the flashiest truck.
I
think there's this big perception of I'm going to start my own thing and fuck my old boss. I'm going to be the one going on holidays and doing this and that. And you learn very quickly the other side of it. That's a glimpse.
Well, you get just into it, and then you're going, I actually got a bit more respect for my old boss now. This is quite difficult.
Yeah. I feel bad when I was calling in sick.
Yeah,
you can see why he gave me a spray. But the main thing would just be don't run before you can walk. And just have some solid foundations. Like we didn't even really have any quoting software or anything like that till we joined Catapult.
Yeah.
And I know it's cliche because I'm in your office, but you need that support. You need to be able to call some guys who have been in the game like longer than you.
Yeah.
Ask for some advice and get around it. You know that
I know what you're saying, mate.
Yeah.
I know you're not trying to piss in our pockets, but you know, we've got our offering, but the unsung hero of Trade Group is the network. It's so hard to get that across to people until they experience it.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and it's us and then all the other members you get access to.
Yeah, and that would have been like a really good accelerator for us when we started because we didn't have a network.
Yeah.
If we had nothing on, it was a door knock or doing a job for free.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that because that's just hustle.
Totally.
But there's things out there that can definitely take a little bit of the risk out of it for you.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, this is another hard one to sort of get across to people, but I've always been a massive believer in working with other Sparkies.
Yeah.
And people are like, how does that work?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can explain it, but it's like, one, you meet a really good group of blokes, you know, or girls, and you all help each other. You don't compete for work necessarily between each other too much. You're not coming head to head too much, but you can all just help each other out and grow together, and it's friggin' awesome because one of the hardest things about running an electrical company is it can be really isolating.
Yeah,
you know, you literally feel like you're on your own and everything's on your shoulders.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely. And it's like having that support and having other companies you can lean on is definitely the key.
Or just ring somebody up. You know they're in the same position as you.
Yeah.
This is shit, isn't it?
Yeah, fucking hell.
Yeah, why did we do this?
How's your third wife going?
Yeah. I've just met my future ex-wife.
It's hard because it's like if someone was starting out, it's just don't be naive.
Yeah,
give it a good crack and just you seriously have to be humble because you see the guys that come up, you know, they come up. They've got all the vans on the road. They've been in business for fucking 3 weeks. That's like, I mean, all good. Power to you if you got a good contract.
Yeah.
But just kind of, just baby steps, eh?
Yeah.
Baby
100%.
steps. Because I'd say our growth's been like amazing we've become a really well-established company. But there's been so many times when it could have gone up the other way.
Yeah, and there's a lot of this when you're building a company. You're up and down, and it feels like you're 2 steps forward, 1 step back, or whatever. But you've got to go into it if you're serious and go, I'm building something for like the rest of my life, essentially.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I am building something that's going to be the wealth generator for my family.
Yeah, exactly.
And then who knows, it might be something I sell when I retire, or it might go on to my kids, or who knows.
Yeah, it's bigger picture, eh? Like and it's your brand. You know, like you want the main thing that I took out of those early years is just you want to have the respect from your customers.
Yeah.
You want them to be like, fuck, they're a good company.
Well, as a trade, we actually start down here.
Yeah.
You've seen all the TikToks, the memes, like Sparky's rocking up to site in jandals and throwing money everywhere and shit.
I don't know where that's come from.
Yeah, and I have seen people sort of insinuate a lot online that electricians are a big portion of electricians are part of the LGBTQ plus community, which so we're sort of starting down here.
Yeah. There's a big scope gap, eh?
We've got to fight our way just to get back to zero.
Yeah.
So you've got to be really careful how you come across.
You do, yeah, you do. I mean, Sparkies in general are considered probably weird people.
There's a lot of weirdos in our game, which I think's fantastic because it makes it more entertaining.
It keeps it entertaining when you're at a function and meeting other people, and you're like, you're one of those guys.
you're odd, mate.
Yeah. You do speakers.
Yeah.
I do alarms.
Yeah, getting all barred up about Cat 9. Bringing out Cat 15 this year, mate.
Oh, there's a lot of passion in the industry, eh? There's a lot of passion. And I think our industry...
It's my worst nightmare. If I start talking to like a passionate Sparky who's passionate about electrical work, I'm like...
Yeah. I'm out of here. I'm going to smoke bomb.
Yeah, you boring, mate.
Yeah. And that's like, I think a lot of that comes to our industry is so fucking complicated.
Yeah.
There is so many different avenues, and it's not just like with building, you do residential building and commercial building. With Sparkies, there's alarm guys, there's, speaker technicians. There's all sorts of fucking random little things.
Totally. And there's so much knowledge out there to learn and da. So I used to think, obviously as an apprentice, I was like, oh yeah, you do your 4 years and then you know everything. Da. And what I realized, not after I'd finished my apprenticeship, probably another few years after that, I was like, being a qualified electrician is obviously you've got a huge knowledge base, but where it clicks with you is where you've got the confidence to walk into any situation, whether you've seen it before or not, and sort it out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not that you know everything, it's that you know how to find the information and fix it.
Definitely. And when I got registered at Boss Electrical, I remember Rob came up to me, he's like, you'll know in your career when you become registered, that's when something just clicks in your head and you go, fuck, now I actually know what I know and I know what I don't know because, you're signing that job off and you're still fucking green.
Yeah.
And,
totally.
and there's all sorts of guys that come from different, someone's been doing commercial for 4 years. He could have been on one site his whole apprenticeship. And then someone that's done house bashing, and there's all sorts of different levels of qualified tradesmen.
Yeah, you've got to be thrown in the deep end in many different situations and build that confidence to work it out.
Yeah, especially like build the confidence that there's a fault. And then you kind of, when you're sitting in the back of the class daydreaming and, you've taken 4 extra years to pass your apprenticeship.
Yeah, I was 7 years.
Yeah, 7 years.
I moved countries in that 7 years, but I was 7 years.
Yeah, nice. Well, we've had someone in our company who's actually one of our guns.
Yeah.
And I think he was almost 12.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah.
Well, at least he would have had a great knowledge base when he got qualified.
Cheap labour for ages as well.
Totally.
He's one of our top guys, and he just
12 years.
12 years. I think he reset it.
Just hates bookwork.
Just hates it. Yeah.
Classic.
Reset it 3 times.
Yeah.
So that was a long slog. He actually got registered recently. And
do you have a big party for him?
Yeah. Well, we had a few beers and stuff, and now he's got a kid.
You should have fired him because you have to pay him trades and wages now.
He's a true journeyman.
Yeah.
He's a true journeyman.
Bloody good. Well, listen, mate. Let's wind it up. just on a personal note, it's been a pleasure watching you grow
I
your
appreciate
company
that, man.
up to this point.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to seeing what the next chapter holds for you, mate.
Yeah, cheers, Bobby. I appreciate it.
Thanks very much for coming on, and thank you out there for listening.
Cheers.